So, of course, you have a smile on your face because, it's been a while, but we are now back. The Indaba is back. But then, of course, and I couldn't help but think of the tourism Indaba because of the floods that hit KwaZulu-Natal. But the show goes on, I see.
Absolutely. Last time you and I had a conversation on the show, the province had been, devastated by the floods. There was doubt as to whether we are going to have the show. We made the decision that in order for us to be compassionate to the businesses that have been affected, the livelihoods that have been affected, the best way for us to respond is to bring economic activity back to the city, back to the province, and back to the businesses, to the tourism sector, that had been adversely affected. As I speak right now, I am at the Durban ICC as we put the final touches, as we prepare to open up the show. Today, we have what we call Bond Day, which is where all of the SMMEs, different, businesses are, coming here to go through various master classes on how to catalyze their businesses, how to bounce back, in this situation that, the sector finds itself, after 2 years of, being shut down and reopened partially. But right now we are ready to go full steam ahead and to drive the tourism recovery domestically, continentally, and internationally. So we are very, very, very excited that everybody is here and that the show is finally on the road.
So just in terms of who will be in attendance, can you talk to us about who has registered? And also, Themba, what about people who may be watching this morning and are thinking of, maybe venturing into the tourism sector? Is it still open? Is there still scope and opportunity for people to join in?
Absolutely. And let me probably give you some statistics. So we have got over 20,000 meetings that have been set up. With various buyers and, and exhibitors. So it's over 20,000 opportunities for commercial transactions to happen, for inflow of revenue, into, the tourism sector. We also have over 4,000, exhibitors and buyers that are gathering here in order for, for all of the commercial activity, to occur. And we've got over 270 media from around, the world, the continent and domestically that are present here. So we've got a powerful contingent of presence here, to be able to really drive, the tourism recovery. Specific to the question that you've just asked me, entry into the tourism sector, the barriers, of entry are pretty low in terms of being able to enter into various areas of the sector. So it's not just accommodation. There's also other support industries. There's restaurants, there's entertainment, there's various experiences. There's cultural experiences that can, be converted into, tourism opportunities. So this is, in fact, the time to really come back into the sector, to really begin to drive, tourism recovery and to create livelihoods within the sector and really show the world, what we stand for, as a tourism destination, a premier tourism destination of choice globally.
And I think just looking at the importance of an event such as this Indaba, I think I have, on occasion where I have attended Indaba, gone to visit places that ordinarily I would not have looked at prior to being at Indaba. So just the importance of that and maybe getting it to live beyond the Indaba itself, Themba. What is being done in that regard just to promote tourism, local tourism, especially to ordinary South Africans?
So we believe that, travel, should be and is a human right. This is our country. We need to really enjoy it. That is why our, domestic tourism campaign says, it's your country, enjoy it, because there's nothing, better. There's nothing more stimulating. There's nothing more rewarding than taking a short left in your own, in your own country. What we, encourage South Africans to do is to first travel within your locality, using areas that you're probably a lot more comfortable and familiar with, and then to be able to travel, throughout your own province and then cross, our provinces, and really being able to tap into all of the cultural experiences that we have, all of the tourism experiences that we have across the country. And what we saw during the 2 years that we couldn't travel, outside of the country, South Africans really, really rediscovered, their own country. I mean, we traveled all over the place and really began to reconnect with our country and with our own culture and with who we are, as a people. And, we continue to do that to make sure that South Africans are educated on, our tourism opportunities, and that they're encouraged and facilitated to be able, to really enjoy, their country. I must also say that we've also got, exhibitors from across the African continent, because, as I said the last time we had a chat, that it is important for us also to travel across the continent as well, so that, as we travel, across the continent and the continent comes to us, we get to understand each other's cultures a lot better. We get to have a lot more, understanding of one another, and really building a very strong domestic and continental tourism sector that is, sustainable, that is, commercially viable. And it just makes us also better hosts, when people come from outside of the continent and outside of the country, when we are familiar with our own tourism product.
So, Themba, for people coming into the country and those from within the country making their way to KwaZulu-Natal for Travel Indaba 2022, what will they be greeted by in terms of eThekwini? Because this has been dubbed the playground of South Africa, and now we've had the devastating floods, and some of us who haven't been there since the floods, find it quite difficult to imagine what scene we'd be greeted by.
So, when you watch, through the lens of the media, that is focused on a particular, story, it is easy to get the impression that the entire place, is about that specific story. I've been here since Thursday, and I've had the time of my life. I mean, I've been here, I've been out, having, a bunny chow, I've been out, to various social, activities around, I've even been onto the beach, which has now been cleared up. So Durban is still standing in spite of what nature threw at it. The city is still standing. The people are still, still have smiles on their faces. The entertainment product, the hospitality, has not been washed out of us. It is still within us. And when you come to Durban, when you arrive at the, King Shaka International Airport, the first thing that you're going to feel is you're going to feel the energy of the city. There's music, there's dancing, there's information availability, there's a bustle that is going on. Over the weekend, it was more about setting up the show. There's a bustle of activity in terms of the infrastructure going into the ICC, setting up, the various roads, diversions in order for the show, to happen within, a secure and coordinated environment. But last night, as people began to descend, the buyers, exhibitors began to descend on the city, there is an electric energy in the air. There is excitement. People that have not seen each other for 2 years are greeting one another, are socializing, are reconnecting. And I believe, without a shadow of a doubt and without fear of contradiction, that this is going to be one of the best Indabas ever, because people are just so determined and so hungry to really get, this show on the road and to really begin to rebuild, the tourism sector. So as people, are thinking or maybe even hesitating whether to come, this is the moment. This is the time to be in eThekwini. This is the time, to be on the ground here. There is commercial activity happening. There's entertainment activity happening. over the weekend. There were soccer matches that were happening here. The city is really, really alive, and we are ready to live again. I mean, this is, the best time, I believe, for us to really get out and really begin to drive the tourism sector going forward.
And that's the nub of the matter, isn't it, Themba? The fact that people are ready to live again. People are desperate to just get out and get back to normal, whatever normal is, the new normal, in whichever way, shape or form it needs to be embraced. But before we just end off on that note, can we just talk to the position that the tourism industry in South Africa finds itself in after the pandemic and, of course, these devastating floods in KwaZulu-Natal? What shape are we in?
There's a couple of things that have happened. So during the 2 years that we were under, various levels of restrictions, businesses did shut down, unfortunately. Skills were lost, from the sector as people tried to find livelihoods, in other sectors. So that is a fact. But something else, something absolutely magical happened also at the same time. That new players came on board. New product, was born, during the pandemic. New experiences, new entrepreneurs saw opportunities to enter into the sector. So what we actually have now is we've got a tourism sector that has got the base of the product and experiences that we've always been renowned for, domestically and internationally. But we've got new players that have come on board. We've got new hotels. We've got new entertainment platforms, new restaurants, new suppliers that have come on board. So you've got a refreshed and a reinvigorated, tourism sector that has got a new energy to it, has got a new spin, but still has the stability of, the
All right, we seem to have lost Themba there, that picture or the connection freezing on us. I see Themba is unfrozen there and I can see it out of the corner of my eye. So maybe we can just get back to Themba to wrap up this conversation. Themba, you were speaking about the opportunities that exist, and unfortunately we just froze up there for a moment.
Yes, I was talking about, thank you, Sakina. I was talking about the opportunities that during, the 2 years of lockdown, yes, there was a loss of businesses and loss of skill, but there's also new players that came on board, new hotel groups, new restaurants, new suppliers, new skills, new entrants, that have come on board, new digital platforms, new channels. So what we have is we've got the base of the product that remained resilient throughout, the lockdown period. But we've got new players that have brought in new energy, that have brought in new perspectives, that have brought in new dynamism into the tourism sector. So people coming to South Africa are going to find the base of things that they're familiar with, but they're also going to, experience new products, new experiences, new cultural engagements, actually new faces that they've never met before, and new players in the sector that will really bring a new and fresh experience. So we are extremely excited about the space that we find the sector in right now, and we are looking forward to receive the world in South Africa, to host the world in South Africa, to recover, the tourism sector, that had a setback. But we are looking forward to the growth. We're looking forward to everything that, the world has for us as they begin to re-engage with South Africa. And most importantly, here at Africa's Travel Indaba, we are looking forward to great business being done. We're looking forward for great, new commercial, activities, to be forged in new relationships. And we are also looking to our media partners to really carry this message, domestically, continentally, and internationally. And so thank you very much for this opportunity to actually be able to send this message out to the world. So thank you very much. And we're looking forward to hosting.
Themba, We wish you well, and of course, as you say, can't wait. And I think most people feel the same way. But I also love the fact that, as you say, the barriers to entry are quite low. So this is an industry where many people can very easily get a foothold into the industry. So Themba Khumalo is the CEO of SA Tourism, and hopefully, you know, it will get some of us thinking, the youth especially, just in terms of the innovation that you can bring into this space. There is, of course, opportunity for that. We're going to take a quick break before headline news.